I spent a lot of time in a natural history museum looking at structures there, at the animals there. Then I looked at books on architecture. Um, I I linked in with a fellow named Nicholas Hotton at the Smithsonian, who was head of the paleontology department.
Nicholas Hotton, paleontology department. So that's the one that deals with dinosaurs and so on.
Right.
Okay.
The Smithsonian is a wonderful place, and I wanted to do this. I wanted to learn something about the mechanics of the dinosaurs and things. So I said, well, what better place to do it is to check in with the Smithsonian. So in those days, the Smithsonian had a switchboard with operators in it, and I called the Smithsonian. I said, I'd like to speak to somebody who knows something about the mechanics of dinosaurs.
Oh, so it was a real switchboard with a person there.
Switchboard with a person there.
Okay, so it's not press one.
No,
if you
no.
Get the number. And
this is switchboard. A real live person answers the phone, and I said, I give her the spiel, and the Smithsonian is set up this way that if people ask for something, they will try to accommodate you. And I didn't know that, but I just called them up. I found that out later. And I said, is there somebody there I could speak to? And she said, just a minute, please. And the next thing I know is that Nick Hotton here. Well, little did I know his importance. He was head of the Paleontology Society for the United States. And I mean, he was a really big buckety-muck in paleontology. And I told him whatever. He said, well, come on down. And I came on down, and I used to go down there once a week or so almost, and spend 2 or 3 hours with him touring the dinosaurs. And what you see in the front room are the big dinosaurs. What you see in the back room is shelves and shelves, actually drawers, full of bones. And you slide out these bones and...
So you got the access to the back room through this?
Yeah.
Okay, so you were not just a regular visitor who was just
no.
cruising the hall, but...
No, Nick and I spent hours talking about these things, and he'd show me these different dinosaurs and the different things, and we discussed things like, how the pelvis sits, and because they have different pelvises, and, the bones, and we were trying to figure this all out. So I keep going down there and...
So he was very curious about the thing himself. As a paleontologist, how would the skeletons fit, and how did get the bones and the missing ones, what they would actually mean, as far as I see, right?
He at least said he was there. Yes, he was. But of course, you go to the museum and you see this, a diplodocus with a neck that goes all the way out there. And then you look and there's a steel rod that goes in the middle of it, and there's wires that go up to the ceiling to hold it up. And another thing is, the neck is at least 16 vertebrae long, which, by the way, is the same as birds. They have about 16 cervical vertebrae. But if you look at the tail is at least 100 bones long.
100 bones?
At least 100. You lose count of them. And you got this big, long tail. And Nick says to me, he says, and I knew I was being set up. He says, that these animals kept their tails up in the air. I said, how do you know that? He says, because in the sands of time, you see footprints, but not tail tracks.